You've also mentioned about body count. You guys both have a high body count. Does body count matter? Or it depends. Like you said, it's low in some people's eyes. It's high in other people's eyes. Does body count matter in relationships? Does the past matter?
Yeah, well, the past matters. I don't think body count. Not to me. I don't really care.
Not just as it is, no.
Yeah. I mean, it could
but
be.
The past does.
Yeah. Well, the past is who you are, right? Like if somebody tells me like they have a 200 body count and they're 16, something's probably going on there that's not good.
I was thinking about that too, like because there could be like really young people that are having some sort of like mental
there could be
going on, or
somebody's like 45 and they've like never had sex before. There's probably something going on, right? So it could be indicative. But if somebody's like in their 20s and they've had sex with 100 people or 50 people, or whatever, it's whatever.
There's more experience, which can be good.
Sure.
Okay, so that just represents you're like sexually open, and so it doesn't really necessarily mean any kind of.
Not necessarily. It could though.
The number alone doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you could meet a guy that's like, I just really, really like want to fuck a lot of people because it makes me so cool. Like you can meet someone like that, which is like. Maybe.
So the body count doesn't matter, but like where it comes from.
Like like why have you slept with the people that you slept with? I guess.
Does it hurt like the romantic aspect of the relationship, knowing that there's a lot of people in the past?
I don't.
Not for us. No.
Is a part of the relationship fundamentally romantic?
For us,
yeah,
I'd say so.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay.
What?
You come off as such a cold person.
No, I was just in my head thinking I wanted to just say gotcha right there.
Oh, nice.
It's so judgmental.
I think when it comes to the sex thing, there's always like the way that I explain it is, and I understand like I have to say this because I don't advocate for what I do for everybody or what she does for everybody, because obviously there's a whole bunch of natural feelings of jealousy that pop up for a lot of people. But when people ask me, it's always like, oh, like, isn't this like horrible that you guys are doing this and you don't love each other? From my perspective, I can have sex with like any person and it can be sex. Like that's not like a special thing between two people in my eyes. It's like anybody can have sex, but there are like certain activities and ways that you can spend time with each other where you're like carving out these like precious little moments in time with a certain person that can do things that are special to that person. And those are the kind of like events that I remember more than anything else. So like the idea of like, oh, wow, I had sex with a person that was so special doesn't mean as much as like, us traveling to like New Zealand or sharing some special moment, doing like some really fun activity or event or whatever. That's usually how I look at it. Yeah.
So a shared intimate moment.
Yeah.
I kind of agree, but I can definitely connect the romance with sex.
Boring.
I'm curious
because
why
she's
you
a woman.
can't
See, that's where the red pill's right. That's exactly.
We've also talked about misogyny, which is you're clearly the embodiment of that. What were you saying? So there's a connection between romance and
I think it is, because I think sex could be a lot of things, right? It's some sort of bonding, I'd say, in some way. They say that you really like BDSM, you kind of like you become submissive to someone or you take control over someone. It's like a very bonding, like intimate moment, I'd say.
And that's romantic. The intimacy is romantic.
I think it is. If you can show yourself as really submissive or like weak, or you have like absolutely no control over yourself and you let someone else do it, or you are the one being that, like you are the dominant for someone, I think that's a really like intimate thing, because you show like the weakest part of yourself, kind of.
I just feel like I personally, to me, some component of romantic, but to me, this is not judging to others. To me, maybe it's how I was brought up. The romance increases if the number of intimate interactions are limited to one person. Like for me, for some reason, spreading it out decreases like exponentially the feeling of romance you feel. But I don't know what that could be. Just like sort of having grown up in the Soviet Union, there's the fairy tale stories, and you're kind of maybe living through them.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're saying is like really normal. Like most people probably feel that way. Yeah.
But because you guys are able to successfully not do that, I just want to question my own understanding of it, Like
why is that?
Why is that? Why am I being very jealous for no reason? Like maybe you can maximize the number of intimate experiences if you just open up and let go of the jealousy, essentially.
I think, I feel like in Sweden, like in Scandinavia, we're extremely just sexually open. Like in general, we're not like super religious either. We're very like relaxed. We don't feel bad about ourselves. Like it's just like a different sort of thing. And I would say like we're more progressive when it comes to feminism and stuff. So it's more common that you will meet women with a higher body count than like when I meet like American girls. All of them have like vaginismus, like super suppressed, like sexually, and
Wait,
they have like
what word did you just use?
they have like issues to like they can't relax during sex, so it just hurts for them. So they get really
Vaginismus.
nervous. Vaginismus, isn't that what it's called? Yeah.
Mhm.
So like I meet so many girls that are having like a lot of issues with sex, and they have like a very low body count because they just can't relax, or and it's probably, and usually they come from like a very religious background. So they have just been told like you cannot wear that, you cannot be like that, you can't like, and like where I grew up, it wasn't like that at all. We just see it as more like a casual thing.
So then you can just maximize the
I don't have
awesomeness of the
or-
experience.
Yeah, I guess I
You
don't,
don't
like
have
have
trauma
like
over it.
exactly. Yeah.
I think that the important thing I think for everybody to realize is there's always pros and cons to everything. Like my lifestyle, like obviously I get to have a lot of fun experiences. That's like a huge pro and that's super cool. And if you're like a more monogamy brained person, you're not going to get those experiences. But if you're a monogamy brained person, like when you're sharing that special moment in time with somebody else, like that moment can be really, really, really special because now it's the thing that you're showing yourself and opening yourself up to another person and they're only trusting you to do that. And that's like a really special thing that only the two of you are sharing with each other. So, I mean, like there's always like pros and cons to everything.
Like I think we both would say like doing an open relationship is probably not like we would not recommend it.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
of
think
course
we
not.
would. No.
Yeah, I recently fasted for 3 days and I ate a chicken breast at the end of that, and it was like the most delicious food I've ever eaten.
True.
So like there's some aspect of fasting and scarcity and so on that like, and you have to figure out what for your own psyche what works the best.
It's good to be a little bored or like not do something or like
See, I don't
work because you can just enjoy the time when you're doing something really fun. It's more fun. Otherwise, you're just gonna get numb in general with everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I personally just never get bored. Like I guess the boring thing is exciting to me. The just like
You're like me because you
'Cause-
say everything I like is boring.